Hey man, y'all know what it is. Sensei Reality TV. I'm back. Thank you. Thank you for all the subscribers and everything y'all do for your boy. Let's keep this channel growing. Let's keep this channel going. Y'all already know what time it is. Easy E. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Lynn Wright. Now, I'm not gonna say this is more than just an individual. But I wanna go into details on what separate Easy E, Eric Lynn Wright, from most people. And what really separated Easy E from most people, man, Easy E was a real gangster. And a real gangster that was just basically just wanted to do his business, have his business on how the way he conduct his business on the streets with, you know, on how the way he get his money going on about the streets before he got introduced to Jerry Heller, you know, later on down the line. But before all that, let's go in before all that. Eazy was a real crip, real gangster, and was really in the streets and was really doing these things. He wasn't an entertainer. You know, he didn't even want to rap. Eazy he didn't want to rap at first. But after, Dre and, NWA, the members of the NWA, they kept, wanting Eazy E to go in the studio just to see what he would sound like if he was on a record. And one of the records, of course, was Cruising Down the Street in My 6'4". But before all that, man, let's talk about, before the Ruthless Records era and when Eazy E, had the record label, with Jerry Heller. Um, let's go into everything before that. Eazy E, man, he was, as we already know, born and raised in Compton, California. Um, of course, as a, when you're growing up in the area, where it's pretty much a lot of negativity, things going on, you're gonna run into a lot of legal troubles. This was like I said before, he was like, with the whole Ruthless Records thing. This was before all that, and in 1987. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, before all that, that's was like he was getting into because Easy, he sold drugs. You had to have some sort of type of income because he dropped out in the 10th grade. So, but he went back, and got his, his diploma and everything like that of that sort. But he dropped out in the 10th grade, so he was strictly like out in the streets because Eazy E was a hustler, before he probably even knew that he was a hustler. Like you just, it was just introduced to him at an early age. You know, dropping out of 10th grade, like you still like at the age of what, 16, maybe 15 to 16. So it's like early on, he was already had that mentality of the importance, how important it was to, have your own money and getting money, right? So after being on the streets and getting his money out there, you started to develop a certain change, into the mindset of what you want to do and try to like create a bigger impact on your legacy and what you want your kids to have and everything like that later on the line. You want something that's more bigger and like overall a bigger picture and a foundation you want to create for yourself. So he wanted to, later on form Ruthless Records, but before then, we all know the famous group NWA, Niggas with Attitude. Um, Eazy was a part of that group, but he wasn't supposed to be a rapper or anything of that sort. He was just, the business mind, behind the group, and and keeping everything flowing the way it's supposed to flow, like as far as business wise go. You know, not to take anything away from the members, because Ice Cube was business savvy as well. But Eazy-E was pretty much, he was like the main focus point on the business, arrangements, with NWA. So his job wasn't to rap until he was like pushed to just go into rapping, and he started off shaky, as we all know, and through practicing and hours of sitting in the studio trying to develop a flow, um, they came up with a song "Cruising in My 6'4", and Eazy-E, his flow pattern and how the way he went on to that song and did his thing of being a part of that that type of song, it flowed smoothly, and it was the way that it was supposed to sound. Because I mean, Eric Wright can only do it the way that Eric Wright do it, and he did it that way, and that's such. Right. So NWA had a very successful career. Um, they had a lot of accomplishments, and uh, very controversial, as we all know. With the whole police situation, but um, things within that group continue. Like it's they had a nice run, but um, it started to break down slowly because they were like kind of on the business side. They were wondering why the portion of the income wasn't really received how the way it was supposed to be received according to Ice Cube, or how the way it's supposed to be getting paid. So it kind of made Ice Cube kind of shake away. But with Eric Wright, with him being as business minded as he is, like the whole Ruthless record thing, that he was like partnered, along with Jerry Heller. Um, Ruthless Records was, I want to say just as successful. Um, but Jerry Heller, kind of, you know, when he became the manager, you know, they, that's kind of like also how the group started to slowly start to splitting up, you know. So Eazy-E's whole his whole background and everything that he accomplished with him, putting people in a position to be able to make money later on, but was just that successful because Eazy also he can he had a flow when it came to rapping as well, so this whole situation was separated him from most is that he was a real gangster. He was a real gangster rapper. He was real in the streets, but he was also business minded, and he always wanted to make sure that people got their just due and their proper shine. As far as them being an artist, or if he even knew you just as a friend, he would always make sure that his people, you know, got out there to where others would know something about them you know, and that's what really made him such so that's what really kind of drew so much impact. When we speak on Eric Wright's name is because we wanna always celebrate the people who actually really gave a damn, and people that really drew an inspiration on for other people to look at it and be like, okay, I see how the way he did it, I'm gonna do it like that too. Or if not, I'm gonna do something a little bit, I'm gonna try to be better or be the best that I can with, or how the way he, held it down in the position that he was in as far as running a record label and things like that, or Ruthless Records. I mean, as you can see, we got at the Easy E Pass, later in the '90s, we got No Limit Records with Master P, Percy Miller, you know, and we got, later on after that, we got the Cash Money with Birdman and Slim. And we got Jay Prince from, Rap A Lot Records from Houston. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of people that, sing and sort of kind of drew some inspiration from Easy E, how the way that he, accomplished what he accomplished as a black businessman and said hey, I want to do that too. If not, do it better. Because that motivates people to want to be, you know, owners, but at the same time, you know, business minded individuals, business minded people, black business minded people. And we got to give Eazy E the credit for setting that milestone and setting that inspiration for people to want to be like, hey, if he could do it, and I like how the way he did it, I want to do it like that too. So I can make impact, upon people's lives as well, and getting them out there. But the thing about between, with Eazy E and some people, I see rappers nowadays, they try to, they want to have their own record label or kind of like want to paint that picture, but they still want to be rappers too. And it's like you can't do both, So I mean, and the reason why I say that is because you can't have your attention span on still wanting to be an artist, but still wanting to, call yourself, paying attention and really like trying to, have your own artist at the same time and pay attention to what he or she is doing and giving your whole full 100% of that because that'll be impossible. Because you still trying to focus on yourself as an artist while trying to focus on another artist that you got is only it's not gonna work. It never have and it never will. So, my advice, what I would say is like if rappers really, want to take, seriously on the business side of what they really going on, if they want to have artists and, create their own record label, they got to be completely done with music themselves. So they'll be able to give the artist that they're signing the full attention that, he or she needs to be able to be the best version of themselves so they can, generate money for themselves and for the record labels itself. That's how you properly handle the business the way it's supposed to be handled. And Eric Wright, Easy E, he did it that way because he didn't never wanted to rap in the beginning. And when he started rapping, that still was never his full attention, where his full attention span lies because he was 100, like he was like 95% business and only just like 5%, with music. And that's because they wanted him to, rap, from like they wanted him to do that in the get go. He didn't mind doing it afterwards because I mean he started liking it a little bit, but Easy E was like 95% business. So I mean, even after he was successful with, with putting out music, he still didn't really care about that. He just wanted to be the business, mindset behind all of it and run the whole show because that was his whole motto from the beginning, was to just, be have his own record label and do it how the way he want to do it so he could put out artists so they can like shine and, get their talents out there to the world for the world to hear and see. That was some of his goals, and that was, a part of his vision board on wanting to, branch and have people like, get a chance to, get their talents and their gifts out. You know what I'm saying? So I mean like that was just the genius of, you know, Eric Wright's way of trying to be able to, not trying, but being able to, you know, show the world like you can be a black businessman, just know what you're doing and just do your research and just, of course you got to be smart, but you can be from the streets and still be at the same time put that shit behind you and be a legit businessman and run a legit business and giving people they, they proper shine and they just do and letting them show their talents or their gifts to the world. And that's all he wanted to do. He did that for Bone Thugs and Harmony, as well, before he passed away. So it's so much respect that, you gain from Eric Lynn Wright's accomplishments. It's so much respect and there's so much inspiration that you can draw from that situation. Because, I mean, nothing is never easy, but, and his name being Eazy, you know, um, you have to like, you have to be able to be around the right people to be able to discuss these, you know, business deals of what can, become a business deal. That's why he linked with Jerry Heller because you have to know you have to know somebody that know a little bit about something so you can get something started. And Jerry Heller, he was a Jewish guy that really knew, about the business, and you got to go to the person who knows about something so you can gain the information that you need so you can know about whatever it is as far as what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to grow. as a business or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that's what you have to. Those are the people you have to network and link with. So he linked with Jerry Heller with Ruthless Records, and that was successful as well. Because Jerry Heller pretty much wanted to, you know, take matters into, you know, more of the business side into his hand, and that kind of like drew, some sort of type of situation that had Eazy-E like, wait a minute, hold on, like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? This is not, how the way this was supposed to be, how the way business was supposed to be. So that kind of like made Eazy-E and Jerry Heller's relationship kind of shaky, you know, and it kind of brought the realization to Eazy-E, you know, of why Ice Cube left the group in the first place, because Ice Cube seen it a long time ago. But, you know, Eazy-E finally, like, picking up on that and saying, like, hey, I need to go, have a conversation with Cube. And that was real gangster for Eric to do that. You know what I'm saying? To patch things up with Cube. And, like, man, you right. You was right the whole time, you know? So, Eazy-E, that's what separated, him from most people. Well, that he was real giving. He was real loving and a giving person that just wanted to see others shine, and just build that inspiration for other people to look at how the way he's doing it, and hopefully like do it like that as well, as far as like being a businessman and knowing about your business, and creating and building it to be as big as it can become. We all draw inspiration from someone, you know. So I want to make this video, to keep Eazy's name alive, because he was, diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, and he announced that illness in a public statement on the 16th of March in 1995, and we want to always just keep his name alive, and his like his drive, and just everything that he was represented. He represented himself as, you know, in the hip hop music game, because I feel like that's very important. So um, invest, man. Just like Eazy invested in Ruthless Records, invest in whatever that you believe in, and hopefully this give you a little bit of taste of, you know, of a piece of Eazy-E's, you know, accomplishments, and what he, and the milestone that he set. And you can take a little bit from this, from this video, or from Eazy-E's life, and it can motivate you to be whatever that you want to be, you know, in life, whatever that you want to do, right? Because Ruthless Records, it came when Eazy-E, of course, when he asked Jerry Heller to go into business with him. You know, he suggested to have ownership into the company, but he later decided that Eazy-E would get 80% of the company's income, and he would only get 20. But Jerry Heller's like he was real sneaky, man, because he told Eazy-E that every dollar comes into Ruthless. He's talking about some he taking 20 cents, and that the industry standard for a manager of his caliber could only take 20, and you could take 80%. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying that he was responsible for his own expenses, for Jerry Heller's expenses, and that he's responsible for his expenses. He was telling them that, what I'm saying, that you own the company, but I work for you and all that. But along with Jerry Heller, Eazy-E invested much of the money into Ruthless Records, and Jerry, claimed that that he invested from up to first to 250,000, and then eventually, allegedly putting up $1 million into the company. But that's why it's important to, make smart investments. Because Ruthless Record was successful before Eazy passed away, and that's what made him as, smart of a businessman to be able to, make those smart investments for him to be, the businessman that he was, right? So we can all take a little bit something from this situation and use it as motivation and build us to be as big as we can become, by looking at legends like Eric Lynn Wright. Long live Eazy E. This is Sincere Reality TV, man. Live, love, laugh, stay military minded, keep God first, and stay focused on yourself, because who love you more than you? Who know you more than you? At the end of the day, it's just you and God. All right? I'll holler at y'all later. Love, one love, and peace, dog. Sincere Reality TV, and I'm gone.